Gloucestershire produced a professional all-round display to defeat Kent Spitfires by 6 wickets with 5 balls to spare in their NatWest T20 Blast match in Cheltenham. Michael Klinger inserted after winning the toss and then watched Joe Denley get off to a good start. A well-struck 6 in the 3rd over off Matt Taylor, getting things moving. Denley and Daniel Bell-Drummond opened up with a stand of 45 made at 9 runs per over. But in the final one of the power play, that brought about the end of Bell-Drummond for 16, Klinger holding on well at mid-off to offer David Payne a wicket in his 2nd over. The total read 54 for 1 at the end of the 6 overs of power play, with Denley looking in supreme touch, scoring 37 of those runs. But after adding just a couple more, he perfectly picked out Tom Smith at deep backward square off Benny Howell, whose opening over cost just 2 runs. Howell and Smith combined again in the bowler's next over, Sam Northeast falling in identical fashion as a batsman departed for 5 at 72 for 3 in the 9th over. Halfway through the innings, the Spitfires had made 82 for 3, Jimmy Neesham starting brightly, until he had a slash at a ball from Chris Liddle and nicked off for 9. Alex Blake came and went quickly, Smith with his 3rd catch of the afternoon, Matt Taylor the bowler to lead the Spitfires on 87 for 5 in the 12th. Much now relied on Sam Billings, who brought up the 100 in the 14th over, but there was still work for him and Darren Stevens to do. And Billings soon began to play and time his shots really well. This push off Howell carrying the distance. The score with 5 overs to go at 116 for 5, Billings into the 30s. Stevens was also finding his range as the late charge began. But having added 40 and 5 overs together, the partnership was broken, with Matt Taylor taking a splendid catch to get rid of Billings for 36. And Howell ended with figures of 4 for 29, as he also removed Matt Coles for a golden duck. Jack Taylor with the catch this time to reduce Kent to 132 for 7 with 3 overs remaining. Only one more run had been added to that when Stevens on 19 drove a slower ball from Payne to Klinger at mid-off, the visitors in danger of being bowled out. Instead, Adam Milne belted Payne into the crowd in the last over as the Spitfires finished on 152 for 8 from their 20 overs. Gloucestershire openers Klinger and Mustard both struck early boundaries to soon have their side in control of this contest, the pair trying to make the most of the new ball and some pace. Mustard initially struggled to find the gap, so he went over the top instead with a firmly struck maximum off Coles. The introduction of Treadwell inside the power play ended the partnership on 35, Klinger bowled for 13. Gloucestershire added 1 more in the power play, and with Mustard looking good, they would have been relatively pleased at this stage, this a big hit off Stevens. Ian Cobain was quickly into his stride as well, as Gloucestershire kept themselves up with the required rate. Treadwell struck down the ground and into the hospitality tents. Into the 10th over, and Kent introduced 24-year-old debutant Imran Qayyum, and he struck with his 3rd delivery, being clipped firmly by Mustard, but into the hands of Northeast, the batsman on his way for a quick-fire 42. Halfway into their reply, and Gloucestershire's score read 78 for 2, 75 more required, the 100 then brought up in over number 13. Cameron, Bancroft and Cobain finding boundaries and running very smartly. But an even smarter catch by Coles at mid-off brought an end to Cobain's innings on 31. The fielder nonchalant as he claimed the dismissal, which left Gloucestershire on 108 for 3 with 45 needed off 7 overs. Howell, a man born in France, tried to celebrate the forthcoming Bastille Day by hitting a 6 to win the match to add to his bowling figures, but was instead held by Bell-Drummond in the deep, leaving it to Jack Taylor right at the start of the final over to use the inside edge of his bat to send Gloucestershire to a 6-wicket win, Bancroft ending on 34 not out. Next up, Gloucestershire entertains Sussex again at Cheltenham on Sunday, while the Spitfires head to Surrey on Friday before the rematch with Gloucestershire in Canterbury on Tuesday evening. So come along and join in the fun.